guys, and welcome to the very first episode of BWB No Cap. Just a few chill guys running a chill show. I'm your host Smriti Narayan.
And I'm Aryan Bhojwani, and this is episode 1 Speed Dating for Your Career. Okay, Smriti, I'm trying to make some money, right, these days?
I've also tried to make money when I was like 16 in 10th, but that was kind of stupid. But like, I tried event promoting and it did not work out for me. So, yeah, it kind of sucks that like nobody tells us how to start. I wish there was like something like a podcast like us who tells you how to start up, how to network, how to build a brand and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how do you find these people? So, like, okay, now let's say if I want to start something, how will I just go approach someone and like learn from him, right? I think that's what the major issue is here.
Have you had any awkward interactions with people who have just been like, Aryan, will you please come and DJ for me, please?
Yes, you.
That's kind of true, but like, don't call me out like that, dude. This is going online. But yeah, so, but like, other than me, have you had any other awkward interactions?
I mean, I have, but then it's like I just usually, if they're cutting it off, then even I cut it off. So I'm always struggling like on that way in the networking front.
Uh-huh. But I feel like networking personally works best for me in college, because like there are so many associations like that. There's 10,000 people to meet, and each one is different from another. They have different hobbies, they have different interests, and it's so unique to meet another person from a different culture. It expands your whole vision and stuff like that.
That's that. So actually, I did have a friend who used to also do events. So right, so basically he used to just go talk to everyone. Like he just had like a skill where he could just go talk to anyone randomly and make it work out. So I think we could learn a lot from him today. So you want to try getting him on this podcast?
Yeah, let's get this guy on the podcast. Now let's welcome Salik Armar. Hey man, how are you?
What's up, all
What's
good?
up, bro? So guys, let's get started now. We have networking with Salik.
Let's get into it.
And he is a company owner. He has a clothing brand and it's called Morph. So at 16 he started his own event company and it was market evaluated at 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs.
Okay, Salik, do you mind telling us how did you get into events? Like how did the journey start?
So, initially, I met someone who was into events, and hanging out with him more and more, I got to learn about, certain things that really intrigued me. And I learned that, especially in Bangalore, there was a very tiny gap of not enough Bollywood parties, which is what I tried to implement with my first ever event, and it was a huge success.
Okay, but how did you see the market gap that there are not enough Bollywood parties? Like
Alright,
what
so-
led that inspiration towards you?
As someone who has attended parties growing up, I realized that there is not much for us Bollywood lovers to really see apart from Kormangla on the whole, which is the only place where you can experience proper Bollywood parties. So then I figured why not just, try and implement it into the market and see how it works, and it just hit off.
Okay, but you told me you were 16, right?
Yeah.
So like how do you get into parties then?
Well, I kind of had to socialize. I had to network. I had to get in touch with people. So initially, what I did was I had a friend who was a lot older to me, and he had the contacts for DJs, venues, and everything. And through him, I started visiting these venues, talking to the owners, presenting the ideas to them. And when I managed to get it all on board, that's how I pushed it forward.
So did you guys like casually meet at like a party or like at college or just like you were just like, hey, let's hang out today, or what exactly went through?
Okay, so initially I met him at a party. He was someone who sold me a ticket.
Okay.
And through him selling me a ticket, I understood that there are certain ranges of profit for a possible promoter, and then a certain cut goes to the organizer, and then a venue takes a certain cut for cover charge. And through that, I realized that maybe I could make a business out of it for myself. So then, back and forth questions, learning a thing or two from him, I sort of figured it out in a way or two, and then I implemented it.
Nice. Okay, so what are some unique networking challenges in the entertainment industry compared to the other sectors?
Alright, one of the biggest things I can name out openly is the fact that people in the event industry hold a lot of ego. Okay, and ego gets in the way of opportunities very, very often. And when they hold so much ego, they're not willing to uphold conversations. They're not willing to go back and forth or, like, come up with an idea. And that causes lack of opportunities for not just me, but any young entrepreneur trying to figure his way through it. Because certain people think they've made it before they actually have or even made a difference. So due to that, that creates, like, a huge gap between people who are constantly trying to make it and those who have made it and don't want to let the people who want to get in inside at all. Because that's something I personally faced as well. Initially, when I was trying to make a name and recognition for myself, it was something more along the lines of I couldn't exactly break through because the market holders, the major stakeholders of the market, were just not willing to be supportive of it at all.
I feel like in the entertainment industry there is a lot of gatekeeping. So like even I, when I was 16, I tried to start like I tried meaning like I was promoting. I was so they would send me like if you sell this many tickets you get like a 200 rupees cut, that type of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
So I was trying that out for a while and I was like, oh, can I was trying to edge in and it wasn't working for me. So how did
100%.
how did you overcome that?
Alright, so initially I was working under someone. So remember how I said I met someone who was in
Yes.
the scene? So he was a promoter and was also working under someone. We got really close. I started working under the same company. And working with them, I realized that there's a lot being kept from me, which I didn't like because I'm someone who likes to know everything through and through. And the thing is, one of the events was fully and solely my idea. And I was like, okay, this is gonna hit big. And I didn't know much about it. Like, I didn't know that such a major cut goes to the organizing company and promoters get only such a little cut. So I went all in. I also graphic design, I freelance, so I help with the posters, music, everything on the social media end of things. And once I was done with the event, I learned that he's made a bag and I'm getting barely like pennies. And that's when I was just like, I could just try it out, give it a shot. And I spoke to the dude who got me into all of it, and we decided to partner up and start a company.
Okay, but you told that everyone has an ego and you face some incidents of it. Like, I would want you to get into those incidents first and also tell me, like, how did you, through his ego, get him to partner up with you?
Okay, so initially there are, you come across certain people who think they know a lot better than you do and are not willing to listen to you. They're not willing to listen to you and they just don't want to see how far your idea can actually go, right? And no one's gonna believe you until you show them progress. Right? No one's gonna believe you if you show them progress. So what I managed to do was with my first event, it was somewhat of a major shocker to everybody in the industry, to everybody else. They were just shook at how this stupid boy just managed to take everybody by storm. Because it was unheard of at the time, getting like such a chaotic crowd. I'm pretty sure like the venue, the road was blocked, like the road right outside the venue was blocked for like easily 35 to 40 minutes only because of the amount of crowd trying to get into it. Right? So it was extremely unheard of. And that opened me up to plenty of opportunities from those who didn't want to work with me initially. But once they saw what I was capable of, they were just back and forth trying to work with me.
So how did you get to like, so there's definitely an age barrier, right? And I feel like old people don't trust like youngsters. There's a generation gap, right? So the thoughts don't align.
Yeah, and you're not taken seriously.
Yeah, you're not taken seriously at all. So how did you convince them, like if you had to have like your big first event, how did you convince them to
like
be
you
like,
can't just go to an investor and be like, bro, I need a lakh, can you give it to me?
Alright, okay, so see, it's very, so what I did with my first event is actually very interesting. I did the whole thing with zero investments.
Oh.
Yeah, I
So
didn't put in
how
a
did it
single
work?
rupee.
Now we have to get really into it. Because
Okay.
I've never heard of an event that has like zero investment.
Okay, so initially what I did was at the time, okay, this is based off the market at the time. Do not try this now. It's not the greatest idea. But according to the market at the time, we had money rolling in constantly. Like I would just say he's a DJ. I reach out to him. I'm like, hey, I want to sign you for so and so event, okay? And I sign him and I'll be like, I'll give you your payment 1 or 2 days prior to the event, okay? So now I've signed him, I create a poster, I create a creative, put it up, and blow it off. You know, try and share it everywhere organically, get as much reach as I possibly can. Looking at his poster, I managed to sell, say, 20, 30 tickets. With those tickets, I say made around 3 grand, 4 grand, and paid off to him. Once I've got him, I can reach you, who's another DJ, and be like, I've already got him. Do you want to hop on board for this event? It's all based off of selling the idea, you know. So I did that to each and every DJ, 5 different DJs. Worked out wonderfully. And then with the venue, all I did was I showed them our numbers. Our numbers that I created with the posts and like, you know, the engagement I got. And the venue was sold instantly. They were like, okay, he probably must be onto something. So in the process of soft launching every DJ, I managed to, you know, generate income enough to reinvest it and then profit out of it.
Now, let's little bit sidetrack. Suppose you didn't get that much of, like, people didn't buy your tickets.
Like suppose you didn't get sales.
You didn't
Okay.
get sales because
Okay.
you know the entertainment. It depends on like a holidays. New Year's,
it's-
everybody's out.
Exactly.
So that's like a prime time for DJs and entertainment people to this one.
Huh.
But what if like on a regular day you didn't get that much like sales
Okay.
that you were expected to get? So you sold 20 tickets. You have to sell 20 tickets to pay the DJ off.
Uh-huh.
You sell like 15 tickets. How do you know adjust it out?
Overcome that gap. Okay.
Yeah.
So the best way to do is see, one of the main things about the event industry in today's day and age is everybody is friendly, right? So he's not going to be looked at as a client. He's going to be more of a friend who is working with me now, right? So the worst case scenario, what I could do is try and convince him, like, listen, things didn't go as expected, but I promise we're going to see it through, right? Because at the end of the day, all that you need to do for an event to work out is to let people know that it's happening. That's all. And one of the things about events is, right, your whole marketing campaign is not as important as the final 2 days. 2 days prior to the event. Because that's when people think. It's not like you're going to be sitting on 16th wondering what you're doing on 25th,
True.
right?
Very true.
If I sell you something on 24th saying you gotta come here on 25th, you're gonna be tempted. It's literally tomorrow. For events like parties, no one's really sitting and planning things out like, oh, we'll go here on this day. So, you know, I just trust the process. I'd be like, we've done it before, we can do it again. And worst case scenario, say I don't manage to gather investments, then come up with a foolproof plan, a proposal.
Okay.
There are plenty of people in the market who are willing to trust ideas, right? A lot of entrepreneurs who want, who want to invest into other people's ideas, because a lot of people don't take kids seriously, people around my age, right? But some of the greatest ideas did come from friend groups or 18, 20-year-olds. So it's just trusting the process. You find the right investor, you convince them with the right portfolio, with the right PowerPoint presentation. It's just going to work out.
What's the
Right.
craziest way of, or what's the craziest idea you've pitched to a investor and they've bought it? It's something very not unconventional, out of the box.
Something.
And the way you pitched it also should have was it unconventional, out of the box?
It was extremely
Okay.
unconventional and out of the box. This again goes back to my first ever party. I have 2 instances actually. I'll start off with the first ever party. What I did was with the venue, it was my first event. They have no proof of how much crowd he can pull, what he can do. I literally had to sit down with the owner and I had to show him our page on Instagram, and I was just like, look, we can do this and I think you should trust us. And it was just extremely not professional, if I could put that out there. It was just very back and forth conversations, me trying to convince him that, listen, I am capable of it and I will prove to you that I will have this venue packed.
So did you just be like, I will throw a party, you give me place, and he was like, yes, I will give.
I mean,
Yes.
it's also
Yes.
how do you leave the execution to a 16-year-old kid, right? That's what
Yeah.
I'm wondering. How do you just go to someone, give him an
Right.
idea, when he could have done the idea himself since he already had experience. And he's like, no, I'm going to leave the entire execution to a 16-year-old
I mean,
kid.
that's something you gotta ask him, right?
No, but personally,
no, but like-
even if I were having a venue, if I had a venue, and I would not give it to a 16-year-old kid like with zero background checks. No,
I mean, the main question is, did they know you're 16?
No.
Yeah.
So, see, one of the things that always works with people is showing them numbers, right? Just showing them how much you can attract through social media, especially with a lot of venues, right? I'm really sorry if this offends any venue owners, but their social media pages aren't that great. They barely get any traction, right? So them noticing that slight bit of traction growth, like my reels for my parties used to range all the way from 50k to 100k views, right? So me showing that to someone whose videos get like 2-3k views, he's gonna lose his mind. He's gonna be like, wow, that's gonna get me some great reach, right? So I'm pretty sure that was a stepping stone to him trusting me with the process. And apart from that, I had to take a little help with the events I had helped out with initially. Remember, I told you I worked under someone. So when I was working under someone, I could still have enough power to go ahead and say I was a part of this event, because I was not just a promoter, I was in the core team, right? So I was making decisions of what date, where it's happening, when it's happening, how are we going to do it, what theme are we going to be following. So with that, I could say like I have experience, I've done it before, but you just need to trust me because it's the first time I'm doing it by myself. It's a leap of faith. And he had decided to jump in the well with me.
So you said you were 16, right? And when I was 16, I was in 10th grade, and I was just behind tuitions. How did you find time to, work out the logistics behind managing a whole event?
Okay, so one thing about me is I've been someone who's hopped from one thing to another. Like you've heard Gen Z people say they have commitment issues. मेरे को relationship में commitment issues नहीं है. I just have commitment issues in life. I can't commit to one thing ever. It was barely 2 years since I started the event industry and I left it behind and now I have a clothing brand. Like wow, कैसे? So I feel like one thing about me is I can never stay attentive or stick to one thing just for the sake of it, right? I keep finding new things that keep intriguing me and I just shift. So what happened with the whole event scene was I used to sit and design a lot. I used to make digital posters very, very frequently. And at some point I used to charge for them. So I had a lot of people calling me, asking for posters to be done and I used to get them. 1,500 kamata tha. I was like, whoa, as a 16-year-old making money, that's crazy. And then I took up an oath that mummy papa se kabhi paise nahi puchunga. Don't do that. If you're getting paid, take it. But so I took as much as I could from making posters, and then like I said, slowly started learning the back ends, right? So I kind of fit it into the same timing, because with posters again, once you have a general idea of what you're doing, it's very easy to mimic again and again. So something that used to take me an hour started taking me 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. So within the same timeline, I can fit in other things, right? Like just calling up the venue guy saying, is everything fine? Are we going to be allowed the floor? What kind of a DJ deck do you guys have? Figuring out logistics wasn't really a hard part, because max I had to do was take out a day or two, go meet them if digital conversations are not possible, or just have a conversation with them over call.
Okay, Salik, so you told a lot of your business ventures have been based on networking.
Yes.
So over the years, did it like the process of networking, so did it evolve like the way you network with people, or?
Alright, so I'll be honest, most of my networking initially was done through social media. That's how I got out there. That's how I created an impression for myself. That's how people started recognizing me as, okay, that's Salik.
Okay, but would you say that like if I just randomly DM someone, most of the time I get ghosted, right?
Yeah.
So how do you get them to respond?
You've got to have a selling point, right? You just have to, whether you're selling a product or whether you're trying to sell an idea of you, anything that you're trying to put out there needs to be a USP. A USP is basically a unique selling point, right? There needs to be something about you that captivates the other person to be like, okay, yeah, that he's on to something, right? And through that, you will indefinitely get a response. See, the thing is, I feel like a lot of people with the ghosting culture give up. They give up and not push forward and try to look for more opportunities. But I feel like if you're knocking 10 doors, at least 3 of them are bound to open.
Okay, could you go into an incident where you going to someone on social media actually got you a response and now it's working with you?
For me, I wouldn't say it happened through social media, but it was because of a certain social media presence I had that, at least made the person believe that, okay, whatever he's saying is legit and he's not just selling me nothing, right? So, my partner right now in Morph, I met him through social media. Both of my partners, actually. I met them through social media, and one of them was through college, but again, through mutuals and through the social media presence is how I got to know her. And the other one was solely through social media. He just screams in front of a camera. I think you all know him, Purav. Yeah. So I got to know more about him once I started, hanging out with his friends, because that all connected through the whole event side of things. So when I was doing events, I used to hang out with his friends very frequently. Really nice people. Through them, I started hanging out with Purav more, and we just sat down one normal day. Uh,
Okay, wait.
okay. Yeah. I just sat down one normal day when I was going through clothing to find for the gym, okay? And that's when I noticed that there was a huge market gap with clothing in India. Now, if you go on Google, try to look for any gym wear or athleisure, it's so loud and chaotic, you just wouldn't be interested. Because obviously, everybody has their own fashion sense, right? And that can be implemented into the gym too. There are people out there who want something subtle with a storyline behind it, right? So I couldn't find anything I wanted, and that's when I was just like, why not? It was a wild thought. Why not just make them myself?
Okay, so coming back, you wanted to go subtle, but you chose the loudest creator on Instagram to promote your brand. So how does that work?
Okay, listen. There is a storyline, right? What I'm trying to sell has a story. I'm not trying to sell you a mass-produced T-shirt. A T-shirt that you could just hop into any store, I'm not going to take any names, buy. Okay? 7,000 other people looking the same way as you. It's mass-produced, it's from a factory, nothing personal there. What I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to sell you something that is literally a plain black T-shirt. I don't even know if the cameras are catching them off. Okay? It's a very simple and elegant looking piece of clothing, which can be worn outside as well. It's not restricting you to only be wearing it in the gym. Can wear it outside, pair it up with your fits, whatever. The reason why it is so simple is because the storyline behind it is so loud and chaotic, right? What does morph mean, according to you? What does morph mean to you?
Transformation, change.
Exactly. What we stand for is change, right? And there's no point in changing this unless you are actually implementing the change. The storyline behind morph is you. You write your own story. So I'm trying to sell you your story. What you do once you put it on is all up to you, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just going to be another T-shirt you're going to look good in. I want you to have a cause to wear it. Every time you wear morph, I want you to remind yourself that, okay, I'm standing for change now. I'm trying to morph myself into the best version of myself, right? Because apart from just fitness and lifestyle, it helps with your mindset a lot as well, right? It helps you focus on things a lot better. It helps you see wider, basically explore wider spectrums of things you could possibly go down the path of.
I mean, did you get anyone to tell you that they do feel insecure, which led you to get inspired to make the brand itself?
100%. Okay, so the thing is, right, when I mentioned the market gap initially, right, I noticed a market gap between people who think it's okay to go to the gym wearing your old clothes, right? Like, gym is not a place where you're making your first impression. But I want to change that because I've heard from a lot of people and noticed from a lot of instances that people who dress up for the gym, they're in a way taunted or embarrassed that, okay, am I overdressed? Am I trying to create too loud of an impression? And stuff like that, right? And I feel like what you really need to do is just not bother, right? Just not, consider what everybody else has to say, and for once, stand up for what you think is right, right? And if you think you looking good in the gym is something that important to you, then you just gotta be ready to morph.
Okay, and I had noticed that in some of your content, you guys were working out yourselves to promote the brand.
Yeah,
So, wouldn't you say that you looking good helps the brand?
100%. So the thing is, right? Okay, like I mentioned before, I'm not trying to sell you a T-shirt. I'm trying to sell you a story, a lifestyle. Once you wear this T-shirt, you're a part of the Morph family. It's a journey now. We're all on our way. I'm not like jacked. I'm not ripped, right? But I'm in the journey. I'm a part of the process now. So what I try to do is. I'm not just gonna send you pictures of the T-shirt and be like, "Yo, that looks cool. You can wear it." If I have someone who is already in the journey of morph at a better place than I probably am, more jack, bigger muscles, whatever, that is already creating an impression for those people who believe that they could make a change by trusting the process.
I
Okay.
feel like the gym community in general is very toxic because majority of the clothes that are made for women are like sports bras that you just have to wear, and they're not very accepting of all sizes as well. So and like many people, they are hating on, even if you're trying to make change, they hate on you, which is not nice. So if I'm trying to get better, I'm trying to lose weight for my health and still, but like the gym community doesn't, like majority, if you see comments on multiple videos of different
Huh.
creators, they get trolled for trying. So
Yeah.
I feel like your brand resonates with, does it resonate with that?
Okay, no, see, one thing about the brand is, right, as of right now, believe it or not, we have one T-shirt in 3 colors.
Okay.
We have one T-shirt in 3 colors, and that is all we are selling right now, okay? But the thing about it is, everything is oversized. You seeing me wear this, you cannot tell if I'm jacked, if I'm skinny, if I'm fat, right? You cannot tell in any way possible.
Yeah.
And the whole reason it's fitting so loose is because the progress of what's happening is under here, right? I don't want to put out an impression while I'm in the process of morphing myself that, okay, I look a certain way or like, because obviously to multiple people perspectives are different. What might be perceived as fat to myself, like how I consider myself looking fat, might not be the same for him or you, right?
Yeah.
All of us have our insecurities, all of us have certain things we'd like to hide, right? So whatever it is that you're hiding under the T-shirt doesn't matter, because at the end of the day you're still trying, right?
Yeah.
You're not just sitting at home being a keyboard warrior, because that's the difference. If you really want to push yourself to get fit, if you really want to live that lifestyle where no matter what, no matter whether you're sad, happy, angry, you're just at the gym working, right, to a better you will eventually understand that certain, like, even the slightest changes. I'm gonna bring up a thing I noticed with myself. Okay, so I was a former chubby kid. I was extremely chubby. I would still consider myself slightly on the chubby end, but I had a little bit of fat here under my chest and my armpit. Okay, and it's still not gone, but it's decreased by so much so that it makes me the happiest. Like, not even getting muscles, veins, or like having a decently aesthetic physique made me as happy as losing that much bit of fat. So once you hop on the treadmill, it's just a cycle. It goes in loop. It all falls into place.
So Morph supports a positive gym community, right?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, and it also is about self-confidence, right? Most of the brand.
It's 100% of self-confidence. The thing is, right, a lot of people nowadays, especially in today's day and age, they don't believe in patience, right? I'm pretty sure you guys, I don't know if anybody here is a fitness freak, but there is a huge steroid epidemic where
True.
a lot of teenagers think it's completely okay to just hop on steroids and go through all the health risks of it, right? And they think that taking the shortcut is going to make you look good, right? And I feel like one thing that our brand 100% stands for is take 10 years if you want to look the way you want to. But you're at least doing it the right way.
Natural.
Exactly. Staying natty.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, even as you mentioned, like, even for networking and building your brand, you need that patience. But do you think that you can go wrong in networking as well in some ways?
I'd say there's no wrong, that there's no fault, or there's no going down, right? Everything is somewhat of a learning curve.
Okay,
In a
so
way.
like let's say now if I approach someone on social media or even real life, and I just get ghosted, right? What's the plan from here?
Do you want to continue working with them, or could you look at possible alternatives with someone in the same niche?
Preferably, since it'll be easier for me to pitch to him, but I just started off the wrong way. So let's say I just got nervous on the meeting, or I just didn't convey my message to him properly, and he didn't really understand it. But I know it works with him.
All right, I'm gonna bring up a story from a very again hopping back to the events. It's kind of sidetracking. What happened was I used to manage a DJ back then, and believe it or not, it took him 3 months of constantly texting me, and I hadn't responded because I thought I wasn't capable of managing him or getting into the whole music aspect of the industry. It took him 3 months of back and forth messaging until one day I was just like, okay, fine, I'll check it out. And even when I did check it out, I wasn't impressed, right? I sent him over to a friend's company, and I was like, he will manage you well. And then he reached out to me a second time, saying he isn't managing me well. And when he reached out to me the second time, it just hit me that this dude, like, he really wants it. He is willing to put his self-respect aside, he's willing to put his ego aside, and all he's looking for is the dream. All he's looking for is the goal, right? And I respected that. And I was like, no matter what, I am going to ensure that he works with me. And what I did was I signed him, and now my event industry company was called Medusa, and I'm pretty sure you've seen the logo, right?
Yeah.
So his logo represents my company in such a way that his logo has my logo in it, upside down.
So you caused each other to morph, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did it
Okay.
basically annoy you into like
Not
signing him?
annoy
Because
me.
he was very persistent, and wouldn't you say that you would be a tiny bit annoyed?
That's exactly right. Have you heard this thing that says beauty lies in the eyes of the
beholder, yes.
Yeah, right. So if someone views it as annoying, I viewed it as wow, he wants it as bad as I did. And now I'm going to do anything in my way to help him, right? And I tried my best to. He's doing well right now. I'm not managing him anymore. One of my friends is managing him, but he's doing really well right now. So it's just the fact that he was so persistent throughout that made me go like, okay, wow, he is really looking for the dream. Doesn't matter how long it takes. He just wants to get there, right? And ego is not coming in the way. Self-respect is not coming in the way. He selflessly DM'd me every single day asking me if there was an opportunity. And even when I had signed him to my company, I was not bothered for the longest time. He used to keep buzzing me every single week saying, is there an event I can perform? Is there an event I can perform? And that persistence led me to believe that, okay, he's got something special. Like, at least give him a shot. And he proved me, exactly.
This
Okay.
much optimism even I want in life, bro. Everybody should sign me also now.
Okay, but Salix, even though there was that much persistence, like 3 months down the lane, I'm pretty sure you would just ignore him. So like, but you told me something caused you to flip the switch. So what was that? Like, was it only his persistence for 3 months straight, or was it something else that he did? Because this is very important for young entrepreneurs to get into networking as well.
Okay, so persistence was key, 100%. And one more thing was he was unique, right? What he was trying to do, what his idea was, it wasn't just every Tom, Dick and Harry achievable kind of an idea. Like whatever he set out to do, whatever impression he wanted to make out to the large demographic of the market, it seemed very plausible because of the way he put it through, right? The persistence, obviously, like, okay, to a certain set, I was annoyed at some point, but eventually I was like, wow, he really wants to do it, right? So that pushed me to believe that if he believes in himself so much to put his self-respect and ego aside, I should believe in him as well. And that's when I was just like, it flipped a switch in me. Like, I was there once where I was trying to be heard, I was loud, I was screaming and no one was hearing, right? So I was like, maybe it's time to pass down the torch, see if someone else can do the same thing. And he proved me right, 100%. So,
Okay,
yeah.
Salix, so had an amazing conversation with you, but we're running out of time here.
Likewise.
So I have one last question, and I think everyone who's watching this will also be intrigued by it. So, what's one advice that you wish you would have gotten earlier? Like one piece of advice that you wish you would have gotten earlier?
Alright, this is something very important, and I feel like you should listen to this very clearly. is don't listen to the thousand noises around you. If you open your phone today, scroll through reels, everybody is trying to teach you something or trying to sell you something. I feel like for once, even if you take an hour away to sit in silence and think about the things that you really want to do, you could come up with a lot more than what Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, or even YouTube could help you with. AI is taking over. You could ask ChatGPT, but trust me, you're capable of a lot more if you just sit and resonate with yourself. If you're just by yourself and with your thoughts, you could get to a lot more places. So my one advice would just be listen to yourself.
Okay.
Yeah,
And thank you, Salek, for being on the show.
you're welcome.
I hope everyone appreciates your advice. And
Morph.
yeah.
We would like to thank Salek once more for coming out of his way during his day and giving us the time, giving us the knowledge that he has. To be such a young entrepreneur to start at such a young age is crazy. So really proud of you, man. Thank you so much for coming out.
Let me teach you a dap up. So we do that. Let that go.
What?
Middle finger.
Okay.
Index finger. Boom. Okay. Again. Let's go.
I put middle finger up. It did. It's fine. We'll try again. Sound was good though.
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Caught
Okay,
on
guys,
camera.
that's how you morph.
Morph. So that's a wrap for our today's show.
And a big shout out to our guest Salek for coming and sharing his experiences with us. So if you guys are excited for our next episode, comment morph down below. And please like, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the next.
Woo!